Fantastic news hits the San Francisco 49ers. I'm going to tell you all about it in this video. Hit subscribe if you're looking for 49ers content. This news is absolutely crazy and in a really, really good way. I think 49ers fans are going to absolutely eat this up. My question for you today relates to the news that came out today, and it's who is the scariest team in the NFL right now? And you don't have to be a homer. You don't have to say the 49ers are the scariest team in the NFL right now. It's okay to say someone other than the 49ers. Who scares you, though? When I look through the list of the teams in the NFL right now, every single one of them has got warts. Every single team has real problems right now. Like just thinking about the NFC, Philadelphia. They give up 24 unanswered points against the Cowboys. Cowboys, in that same game, they gave up 21 unanswered points to the Philadelphia Eagles. So, like, every team has stuff. The Rams, of course, you could say that they're a scary team on paper, and then they go and lose to the Carolina Panthers the other day. So, every single team has their warts. The Lions have had a few bad games out there. They got their CEO coach out there calling plays. The Colts, they might be starting to fall off that cliff. Broncos, they have yet to put in one game that I've seen that has convinced me they are a legit contender. Doesn't mean they don't have potential. Their fourth quarter football is pretty incredible, probably unrivaled by most of the NFL, but definitely unrivaled by most of the NFL. But, I'm not convinced by them. I'm not convinced by them yet. So let me know in the comments who you feel like, hey, that's the scariest team in the NFL. And you can say 49ers if you want. You can say somebody else. Whatever you choose, that's your call. But I say that also, by the way, like I'm recording this right now, the Cowboys-Lions game is barely kicking off. So I don't even know what the score of that game is going to be and how that's going to play out. But let's take a look at why I bring up this point. And I've got a bunch of other stuff to back up this position, which I think is really interesting. I think you're going to absolutely love it. So let's start off with what Chris Russo said. This is crazy. Chris Russo. They're talking on ESPN about the scariest teams in the NFL. The take was that the Cowboys were the scariest team in the NFL. Chris Russo goes, no, not the Cowboys, the 49ers. I'm going to be honest with you. Chris Russo is not my favorite person in the whole world. He's kind of annoying to listen to. He's kind of one of those. He's kind of a shock jock a little bit. But his take had some meat behind it. So let's talk about what he had to say. First, I'll read the quote, and then I'll tell you some other things that he said in the actual recording and save you from that audio. Kyle Shanahan is the second best coach in football. Sean McVay is 1, and he's 2. I don't think there's any question about it. He is that good. Shanahan wins with Mac Jones. San Francisco does not get enough respect. Be careful. Be careful with that team. Yeah. Firstly, the Sean McVay thing just comes down to the Super Bowl win, right? So let's just call that what it is. Sean McVay, gets the up for Chris Russo over Shanahan because of that Super Bowl win, whatever, right? Here's some other points that he made, though. He talks about the fact that the 49ers win in Los Angeles against the Rams. They win in Seattle against the Seahawks. All fair points, right? He talks about how they're on a bye week. Right now, they're going to be coming back fresh enough to beat the Titans, the Bears, and the Dirty Hawks at home. That's what he says. He didn't call them Dirty Hawks. I called them that. But he says the Niners are going to beat the Bears, are going to beat the Seahawks, and beat the Titans. He has them losing to the Colts on Monday Night Football in Indianapolis. Okay. I actually think that game's potentially more winnable than the Bears game potentially, but we'll see. We'll see. We still got a couple weeks to see what that's going to look like. A couple weeks of football, Bears football, to see what that's going to look like. He has the Niners going 12-5 and winning the division, by the way. He says Brock Purdy's healthy. You got a Hall of Fame tight end, a Hall of Fame running back, a Hall of Fame left tackle. San Francisco does not get enough respect, says Chris Russo. I can agree with everything that I just said right there. I can agree with all of that. I think that's all fair. The Niners being 12-5, considering everything they've been up against, that's pretty incredible to think about. I call it fantastic news because the fact that anybody is out there saying, hey, you guys are all sleeping on the San Francisco 49ers, the scariest team in the National Football League. That's a pretty crazy take. Let's talk about it. This team, how scary are they? David Lombardi, I think it was yesterday, posted this. I thought it was really cool. It didn't fit into yesterday's video, so just holding on to it. Like maybe it'll fit someday. It fits today. So 49ers remain extremely hard to beat, says David Lombardi, considering underlying factors of their 4 losses. You've got the Jags, where Purdy is not healthy. You got Jacksonville has a punt return touchdown. DPI on Stout. Yeah, that was a bad call. Okay. Then you got the Bucks. You're going up against you have your second quarterback in the games. You have Mac Jones in the game. Fred Warner has that catastrophe. And it's always harder when a guy goes down in the middle of the game because you've schemed everything. Everything's been planned for that moment for those players, right? Tatum Bethune actually did okay covering for Fred Warner, but the Niners did not do okay without Fred Warner overall. Then you've got the Texans. You've got Mac Jones against the number 1 defense in the NFL. We saw what this number 1 defense did against the Buffalo Bills, and I actually feel better about Mac Jones' performance after seeing what they did on Monday Night Football. I think it was Monday Night Football, maybe Sunday night. I can't remember. Against Josh Allen, how they were able to just dismantle him over and over and over. The Rams, quarterback 2, mass defensive injuries on that loss, of course. So you got Mac Jones in there, and you were like, talk about skeleton crew. You didn't have Bryce Huff. Like it was a tough game. And the 49ers basically had to play perfect football from the very beginning of the game if they were going to be in that game, and they just were out of it too early because they gave up too many points too early on. San Francisco also beat those Rams with the skeleton crew in Week 5. With a healthy Purdy, Bosa, and Warner, we'd very likely be talking about the 49ers as the clear-cut number 1 team in the NFL, fresh off a roster reset. I think that's a fair take. Even without that health benefit, it's taken a lot to beat the 49ers, and it'll be even harder to do so moving forward with Purdy back at a high level. There is no NFC coach that is going to want to see the 49ers in the playoffs. That's for sure. This came in today from SF Data Niners. Quick pause in the video for a message from this video's sponsor, which I'm stinking proud to tell you is Chomps. A while back, my wife bought me some Chomps. I'd never had it before and absolutely loved them. I got hooked on them immediately. 0 grams of sugar, 10 grams of protein, 100 calories, grass-fed beef. They come in a variety of flavors. The turkey's really good, too. I met someone yesterday who absolutely swears by the jalapeno. So there's something out there for everybody. Go give it a try. They're perfect on-the-go snacks for me. It's my favorite thing to bring to work. Sometimes I just eat them with my lunch. Sometimes I have them as a snack, and I absolutely love them. And as I've told you before, it's crazy to me because I did not like beef sticks growing up, and these things made me believers. If you click the link in my description and use my promo code, my friends over at Chomps are happy to knock off 15% off your entire order. You can throw them in your gym bag. You can throw them in your car. You can throw them in your backpack like I do, or you can just leave them in your desk at work. They're fantastic. I strongly encourage you to give them a try. Red zone offenses, I guess it was yesterday now that I'm looking at the hours up there, but red zone offenses since week 10, Los Angeles and San Francisco lead the league in drives reaching the red zone. For the 49ers, consistently favorable starting field position has played a big role in recent weeks. You got to give special teams credit where credit is due. They're number 2 in the NFL in starting field position right now, if I'm not mistaken. I think an average of something like 34.5 at starting yardage. So that's huge, right? So then I, of course, naturally wanted to look up, well, how are they doing in the red zone? So they're getting to the red zone as much as anybody else in the NFL. How are they doing in the red zone? The Niners are top 10 in the NFL right now at, that's small on my screen here, at 62.5% touchdown percentage in the red zone. That's considerably better than last year, if you remember, when they started off maybe the first half of the year just struggling to get anything done in the red zone. So, of course, I compared it to last year's stats. Last year's stats were, at the very end there, it's 57%. That would put the Niners right now, if they're at 57%, that would put them right now below Arizona in touchdown percentage in the red zone, above Minnesota, the Vikings, with the Cincinnati Bengals, who've been without their starting quarterback the majority of the season. That's where your Niners offense would be ranking right now had they been similar to last year's efficiency in terms of touchdown percentage in the red zone. So they're getting to the red zone as much as anybody else, and they're top 10 when they're in the red zone. You got to love that. This team just keeps getting scarier, and they're now starting to earn the respect they deserve. Very slowly, you got guys like Chris Russo going out there and saying, hey, this is the scariest team in the National Football League. You better watch out. Don't sleep on this football team. Well, you can see it reflected in the power rankings as well. The Week 14 power rankings are out, and you can see all of these different publications moving the 49ers, except for Bleacher Report, who has been the hardest on the 49ers the entire season. The entire season. I've been watching this every single week. I don't use it every week, but I watch it every week, and you can see like ESPN has them as the number 7 team in the NFL in the power rankings, right? Power rankings includes recency bias by design. It's supposed to say who are the teams that are the most scary right now. That's what power rankings basically is. And you've got all of these publications moving the Niners up that list from the teens to the top 10s on a lot of these. The CBS Sports goes from the teens to 9. From the teens, The Athletic goes to 8. The ESPN goes from 9 to 7. Bleacher Report continues to be hard on the 49ers, and Fox Sports goes from 10 to 9. So there you go. The team is earning the respect they deserve. Obviously, every single one of these publications would disagree, as far as I can tell, in terms of which team would scare them the most to face in the NFL. So I'm curious then, of course, if you will let me know what you think. Which team scares you the most in the National Football League? We got football happening right now as I'm recording. By the time you see this, it'll probably be after the game is over, whatever. But we've got NFC contenders up right now. This is going to be a fascinating weekend of football. A lot of great matchups. And the Niners and Niners fans, more importantly, none of us have any stress throughout any of it. We just get to watch it and reap the benefits. Our seeding by default will be better at the end of this weekend because of how the matchups work out than it currently is now. Isn't that kind of cool? The worst case scenario for the Niners is they're the 6th seed coming out of this weekend. The best case scenario is the Niners end up the 2 seed. The 2 seed. Now, very unlikely because the Rams are playing the Cardinals. But the 2 seed, the Niners could end up the 2 seed at the end of this weekend by doing nothing, by kicking their feet up and lighting the fires in their fireplaces, because I'm freezing my butt off out here in Denver, Colorado. I don't know if you, for those of you that are not in the Bay Area, I don't know what kind of weather you're dealing with. We got a bunch of snow out here right now, and it's cold. It is cold. I've got my beanie on and everything. So, look, this is how it sits up for the 49ers right now. All of this is bound to change in the next hour, basically. This is all going to start changing for the whole week, the whole weekend, so that's going to be great. I look forward to seeing what you guys have to say in the comments as always. Appreciate you guys, especially the Davids and the Leroys and the Marylands and all the folks out there that are just commenting every single day. Joe, you're out there too. I appreciate all of you guys. You're fantastic. I love getting your takes. And Ryan, you're out there calling me out when I'm saying things not quite right, and you're right. You're right. I gotta adjust the verbiage a little bit. The verbiage around Trey Lance being benched for Brock Purdy. You're right. That was not the correct word. I was reading a tweet and basically agreeing. But, yeah, the general tone, I hope you got the general tone of what was trying to be said there. I appreciate you guys. Your feedback's awesome. You guys are awesome. And I can't wait for an electric weekend of football. Let's go.